Have you ever rested your hand against a cold, solid stone wall and felt the undeniable certainty of its existence? It feels immovable. It feels absolute. You press your palm against it, and the resistance it offers tells your brain that the world is a physical, tangible place. We move through our daily lives trusting our senses implicitly. We trust that the ground beneath our feet is firm, that the air we breathe is invisible but present, and that the quiet stillness of a midnight room is a true reflection of peace. But what if I told you that almost everything your senses report to you is an elaborate fabrication? What if the comforting solidity of the world is nothing more than a neurological translation of invisible forces, a gentle deception orchestrated by the cosmos to allow us to survive? The reality we perceive is a thin, fragile layer of interpretation resting atop a universe of profound, almost frightening emptiness and silent, chaotic energy. We are floating in a sea of mysteries, blind to the true nature of the cosmos. Hello, friends, and welcome. I am Walter, the Explorer, your guide through the quiet mysteries of the universe. Before we venture deeper into the hidden truths of our reality, I want to take a gentle moment to share something with you. Analytics show that 73% of the people who find comfort and wonder in these cosmic journeys are not yet subscribed to the channel. If these stories bring you peace and a sense of connection to the vast universe, please consider subscribing. It helps our community grow immensely and ensures we can continue exploring the endless mysteries of the cosmos together. Now, let us return to the quiet darkness and the illusions that surround us. Think about the chair you are sitting on, or the bed you are resting in right now. It feels supportive, dense, and real. Yet, physics tells us a story that challenges this fundamental human experience. Everything you see and touch is made of atoms. For a long time in our history, humanity imagined atoms as tiny, solid spheres, the indivisible building blocks of creation. But as our scientific instruments peered into the microscopic abyss, we discovered a truth that is deeply unsettling and wonderfully strange. An atom is not a solid object. It is almost entirely empty space. To truly understand this emptiness, we must scale up the infinitesimal. If you were to take a single hydrogen atom and enlarge its nucleus, a solitary proton, to the size of a simple glass marble, and place that marble directly in the center of a massive football stadium, the electron orbiting that nucleus would not be hovering right next to it. That single tiny electron would be a microscopic speck of dust flying around the very highest seats in the distant grandstands. Everything between that marble in the center of the field and that speck of dust is nothing. It is a vast, silent void. This means that the matter making up the universe, the matter making up you and me, and everything we love, is 99.9999999% empty space. When you look at your own hands, you are looking at a localized concentration of nothingness, a ghostly arrangement held together by invisible forces. The terrifying and beautiful truth is that there is almost nothing there at all. So why do things feel solid to us? Why do you not simply fall through the floorboards and plummet toward the molten center of the earth? The answer lies not in physical substance, but in the ethereal realm of energy and force. What you experience as touch is not the physical collision of solid objects. It is the repulsion of electromagnetic fields. The electrons in the atoms of your hand are negatively charged, and the electrons in the atoms of the wall are also negatively charged. Just like the matching poles of two strong magnets, They repel each other with fierce intensity at close distances. When you press your hand against a wall, the atoms of your hand never actually make physical contact with the atoms of the wall. A microscopic, invisible gap always remains. You have never actually touched anything in your entire life. What your brain interprets as a solid surface is merely the resistance of these invisible force fields pushing back against your own. You are hovering, perpetually levitating a tiny fraction of a millimeter above everything you interact with, riding on cushions of electromagnetic repulsion. The physical world is an apparition of energy fields, interacting in the dark silence of the microscopic realm. If our sense of touch is an illusion of forces, what about our sight? Surely the vibrant colors of a twilight sunset, the deep, endless blue of the ocean, and the comforting, ancient glow of distant stars are true reflections of the universe. Yet, our eyes are incredibly limited windows into reality. Light, as we understand it through science, is an electromagnetic wave. These waves ripple through the universe in a vast spectrum of sizes, from enormous radio waves that can be miles long to infinitesimally small gamma rays produced by the most violent cosmic events. This entire range is known as the electromagnetic spectrum. But human biological eyes have evolved to detect only a tiny, almost insignificant sliver of this grand cosmic orchestra. We call this tiny sliver visible light. To put this into perspective, imagine the electromagnetic spectrum as a vast ocean of energy. Human vision is capable of seeing only a single microscopic drop of that entire ocean. Everything else, the cosmic symphony of radio waves whispering from ancient galaxies, the infrared glow of cool dust clouds, the ultraviolet light that paints flowers in hidden patterns, the fierce X-rays emitted by superheated matter falling into supermassive black holes, all of it is completely invisible to our naked eyes. We are wandering through a universe ablaze with blinding, magnificent radiation. Yet, we are effectively blindfolded. The colors we see are not inherent, physical properties of the universe. They are biological inventions created by our nervous system. The universe itself has no color in the way we understand it. It is a silent expanse of vibrating electromagnetic fields. When a specific wavelength of this invisible radiation strikes the retina of your eye, it triggers a complex cascade of chemical reactions. These electrical signals are then sent to your brain, which paints the experience of red, blue, or green inside your mind. The profound beauty of a red rose or a golden sunset exists entirely within the dark, silent theater of your own skull. Outside of your perception, there is only radiation and void. This realization can feel scary at first. It strips away the comforting familiarity of our immediate surroundings and replaces it with a cold, abstract physical reality. But if we sit with this thought, there is also a profound peace to be found in this truth. It means that the beauty of the world is a collaborative effort between the infinite cosmos and the conscious observer. The universe provides the raw energy, but we provide the meaning, the color, and the beauty. We are the mechanism through which the universe experiences its own magnificence. We must also deeply consider the illusion of stillness and the passage of time. As you sit here, quietly absorbing these words, you likely feel perfectly at rest. The air around you is calm, the ground is stable, and the world seems wonderfully tranquil. But this stillness is perhaps the greatest deception of all. You are currently strapped by gravity to a giant sphere of rock and water that is spinning on its axis at roughly 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. This sphere is not just spinning, it is hurling through the cold, empty vacuum of the solar system, orbiting our local star, the Sun, at an astonishing speed of 67,000 miles per hour. But the gentle motion does not stop there. Our Sun, carrying all of its planets and moons, is part of the Milky Way galaxy, a massive spiral of hundreds of billions of stars. The entire solar system is moving around the galactic center at about 500,000 miles per hour, and the Milky Way itself is falling toward the Andromeda galaxy at tremendous speeds. Every single second that passes, you are moving hundreds of miles through the vastness of the universe. You are a cosmic traveler on a relentless, unimaginable journey. Yet your senses report absolute stillness. Why? Because you are moving seamlessly with the Earth, much like you feel completely still inside a smoothly flying airplane with the window shades drawn. The universe graciously hides its dizzying, chaotic motion from us, granting us the comforting illusion of a quiet, stable home where we can rest. As we sit together in the quiet of the night, contemplating the vastness of the cosmos, we are forced to gently confront our own limitations. We are fragile, beautiful biological creatures equipped with senses that evolved not to show us the ultimate, objective truth of reality, but simply to help us survive on the wild plains of an ancient Earth. We see only what we absolutely need to see. We feel only what we must feel to navigate our immediate surroundings. The true reality of the universe, the infinite emptiness within matter, the invisible oceans of radiation, the relativistic nature of time, and the unimaginable speeds at which we constantly travel, is hidden behind a heavy veil of biological perception. It is a scary thought to realize that the world you know so intimately is a construct, a shadow projected on the wall of a cave. But it is also a profoundly beautiful realization. It means that the universe is infinitely richer, vastly more complex, and more deeply mysterious than our everyday human experience suggests. It invites us to remain forever curious, to keep asking profound questions, and to look patiently beyond the obvious. It teaches us a gentle humility in the face of the vast unknown. We are quiet explorers standing on the shores of an infinite cosmic ocean, just beginning to dip our toes into the deep waters of reality. The journey ahead of us is incredibly long, and the mysteries we will uncover are endless, but we will navigate them together in peace and wonder. Have you ever sat quietly in a silent room and listened to the steady, rhythmic ticking of a clock? It feels like a universal heartbeat, a relentless mechanical march of seconds that governs absolutely everything in existence. We are born into a world that teaches us to believe that right now, this very instant, is a universally shared experience across the entire cosmos. But the universe harbors a profound, almost unimaginable deception regarding the fundamental nature of time. The present moment, the comforting now that you feel so intimately in your bones, is a beautiful, solitary illusion constructed by your mind to help you make sense of a reality that is vastly more complicated and deeply isolating. To truly understand this grand deception, we must step outside of our everyday experience, turn our gaze upward into the vast, ancient night sky, and consider the ultimate messenger of the cosmos, light. Light is the absolute fastest phenomenon allowed by the physical laws of our universe, traveling at an astonishing speed of 186,000 miles per second. On the cosmic scale, the universe is so incredibly immense that even light, racing at this absolute fundamental speed limit, takes a considerable amount of time to cross the endless, silent voids of space. Hello again, fellow travelers. I am Walter, the explorer, and before we venture further into this temporal illusion, I want to gently remind you that 73% of the wonderful minds who watch these videos are not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find peace and wonder in our quiet journeys through the cosmos, please consider subscribing. It helps our small community grow immensely, allowing us to continue unraveling the universe's greatest mysteries together. Now, let us return to the gentle deception of light and time. When you walk outside on a quiet evening and look up at the soft, silver glow of the moon, you are not actually seeing the moon as it exists in that exact moment. Because the moon is situated roughly 238,000 miles away, it takes light about 1.3 seconds to travel from its dusty craters to the retina of your eye. You are literally seeing the moon as it was 1.3 seconds in the past. This might seem like an insignificant delay, but it is the very first gentle crack in the grand illusion of a universally shared present. Let us expand our vision further across the quiet emptiness of our solar system. When you feel the comforting heat of the sun on your skin, you are bathing in ancient energy. The golden light that is warming your face left the fiery surface of our star exactly 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. Our immediate now on Earth is entirely disconnected from the sun's actual now. As we cast our gaze even deeper into the endless, silent cosmos, this temporal deception becomes staggering to comprehend. When you admire the brightest stars in the night sky, you are looking at light that has been traveling through the cold, silent vacuum of space for years, decades, or even centuries. The light hitting your eyes tonight from some of the familiar stars began its solitary journey when ancient human civilizations were just beginning to rise. You are standing in the quiet of your backyard, looking up at a sky filled entirely with ghosts. Let us push our imagination to the absolute limits of what we can perceive. On a perfectly dark, clear night, if you know exactly where to look, you might be able to spot a faint, hazy smudge of light in the constellation of Andromeda. This smudge is the Andromeda Galaxy, our nearest large galactic neighbor, an entire island universe containing perhaps 1 trillion stars. It is sitting at an unimaginable distance of about 2,500,000 light-years away from us. When the ancient photons from Andromeda finally complete their quiet journey and gently strike your eye, you are seeing a galaxy as it existed exactly 2,500,000 years ago. The actual reality of the Andromeda Galaxy as it is right now, in this very second, is completely inaccessible to us. We are forever separated by a vast, insurmountable ocean of time. And if we use our most magnificent instruments to look at true cosmic monsters, the temporal deception becomes almost entirely unfathomable. Consider the colossal galaxy known to astronomers as IC 1101, a true cosmic giant residing over 1 billion light-years away from our fragile home. The light we carefully capture today from this enormous, quiet structure, which holds roughly 100 trillion stars, left its home when life on Earth consisted mostly of simple, single-celled organisms, long before the dinosaurs appeared. Entire geological eras and the complete evolution of humanity happened while that faint light was simply traveling in absolute silence through the deep, empty cosmos. We can never know what IC 1101 is doing right now. In a universe so incomprehensibly vast, the concept of right now loses all its fundamental meaning. But the deception of time goes much deeper than just the physical delay of traveling light. Thanks to the brilliant mind of Albert Einstein, we now understand that time itself is not a rigid, universal background clock ticking away at a constant rate for everyone. Time is, instead, an incredibly flexible, deeply personal dimension, woven together with the three dimensions of physical space into a single, unified fabric we call space-time. This invisible, cosmic fabric is not stiff. It can be warped, stretched, and dramatically slowed down by the simple acts of motion and the presence of gravity. Imagine, for a moment, that you were to embark on a magnificent journey in an advanced spacecraft, traveling at a very significant fraction of the speed of light, while someone you love remained behind on Earth. As you accelerated smoothly through the silent void, the very passage of time itself would begin to slow down for you relative to the person waiting on Earth. This is not a mechanical failure of your clocks. It is a fundamental, inescapable property of the universe. To you, inside the gentle hum of your ship, time would feel perfectly normal. But when you finally return to Earth, you would discover a shocking reality. While perhaps only a few quiet years had passed for you, decades or even entire centuries might have passed for the world you left behind. Your swift movement through the vastness of space fundamentally altered your passage through the dimension of time. There is absolutely no master cosmic clock. Your time is uniquely your own, dictated entirely by your specific journey through the cosmos. Furthermore, the mere presence of mass bends the invisible fabric of space-time, and in doing so, it physically slows time down. The gravity of our beautiful planet pulls on your body, giving you weight, but it also pulls gently on time itself. A clock placed high on the cold peak of a mountain actually ticks ever so slightly faster than an identical clock placed deep in a valley, closer to the dense center of the Earth. If you were to venture near something truly massive, like the supermassive black hole sitting quietly at the heart of the IC 1101 galaxy, which contains an estimated 50 billion times the mass of our Sun, the gravitational pull is so intense that time would slow down to an absolute crawl compared to the rest of the universe. If you were to somehow hover safely just outside its dark boundary, you could look out and watch millions of years of cosmic history unfold, while only a few quiet moments ticked by for you in the gravitational embrace of the black hole. Time is a fluid, yielding gently to the heavy presence of mass and the poetic choreography of cosmic motion. This profound truth about our physical reality can feel incredibly scary and deeply isolating at first glance. It fundamentally means that you are locked forever inside your own personal bubble of time. You cannot ever truly share the exact present moment with the distant stars, with the neighboring galaxies, or even, on an infinitesimally small scale, with the person sitting directly across from you in a quiet room. Every single interaction you have, every beautiful sight you witness, every gentle sound you hear is essentially a message from the past, delayed by the fundamental speed limit of the cosmos. You are, in essence, a biological time machine, constantly receiving delayed postcards from a universe that has already moved on. But in this terrifying temporal isolation, if we sit quietly and contemplate it, there is a profound, breathtaking beauty to be found. The universe is not a static, rigid stage where everything happens at once. It is a deeply interconnected web of highly individual experiences, a vast cosmic symphony where every single observer hears a slightly different, beautifully unique melody. Your specific perspective, your exact now, is entirely unique in the grand, sweeping history of the cosmos. The physical delay of light, the strange warping of time by speed and gravity, the grand deception of a universal present. These are not flaws in reality. They are the fundamental features that make the universe so incredibly rich, so dynamically complex, and so infinitely mysterious. We are small, fragile beings, navigating a world built on illusions of solidity, stillness, and shared time. But we possess the remarkable gift of consciousness. We have the extraordinary ability to peer through these gentle deceptions, to use our minds and our instruments to uncover the hidden truths of empty atoms, invisible oceans of light, and the deeply flexible nature of time. This realization should never fill us with existential fear, but rather with a quiet, profound awe and a deep sense of peace. It gently invites us to slow down our racing minds, to breathe deeply, and to appreciate the ancient, unseen machinery of the cosmos that hums quietly all around us. We are entirely surrounded by mystery, wrapped safely in a gentle illusion that allows us to exist, to wonder, and to seek out the truth without being overwhelmed by the raw power of the universe. The reality we experience might be a sophisticated deception, but it is a beautiful one, a safe harbor from which we can cast our curious minds out into the infinite, silent depths of the true unknown. Let us embrace the mystery of our isolated time together, with humility and wonder, as we prepare our minds to uncover even deeper layers of this cosmic illusion. Have you ever unrolled a large, detailed map across a wooden table, tracing the winding blue lines of rivers and the jagged brown peaks of mountain ranges, and felt a deep, anchoring sense of comfort simply knowing exactly where you are in the world? There is an undeniable psychological safety in understanding our boundaries, in clearly seeing the shape of the continents and the familiar layout of our physical environment. When we step outside on a crisp, cloudless night and tilt our heads upward to gaze at the glittering tapestry of the stars, we naturally assume that our eyes, aided by the magnificent glass lenses of our most powerful telescopes, are finally showing us the complete, unfiltered picture of the grand cosmos. We look at the glowing clouds of ancient nebulae, the brilliant spiral arms of distant galaxies, and the steady, comforting light of our own solar neighborhood, and we tell ourselves that this is the universe. We believe that if an object emits light or reflects it, we can ultimately see it, map it, and understand its place in the cosmic architecture. But the universe harbors a secret so profound, so vast and unsettling, that it fundamentally shatters this comforting illusion of a knowable, visible reality. The profound deception is this: the glittering stars, the swirling galaxies, the dusty nebulae, the planets, the moons, and every single atom that makes up you, me, and everything we have ever known or loved, constitutes merely 5% of the actual cosmos. We are living in a universe where 95% of reality is completely invisible, utterly silent, and entirely unknown to our human senses. Hello again, my fellow cosmic travelers. I am Walter, the Explorer, your gentle guide through the dark, beautiful mysteries of the infinite universe. As we prepare to step beyond the veil of visible light and into the profound shadows of reality, I want to gently pause and mention that 73% of the wonderful, curious souls who join us on these quiet journeys have not yet subscribed to our channel. If you find comfort, peace, and a sense of awe in uncovering the hidden truths of the cosmos, I warmly invite you to subscribe. It helps our community of explorers grow immensely, allowing us to continue venturing together into the silent, unknown depths of the universe. Now, let us return to the grand, shadowy deception that surrounds our fragile existence. To understand this terrifying and awe-inspiring illusion, we must travel back to the quiet observatories of the mid-20th century, where brilliant minds began to notice that the universe was not behaving according to the established rules of visible light and gravity. When astronomers pointed their instruments at the spiraling arms of distant galaxies, they expected to find that the stars near the chaotic, densely packed centers were orbiting much faster than the lonely stars drifting at the quiet outer edges. This is how our own solar system operates, with Mercury racing swiftly around the Sun while distant Neptune takes a long, slow, ancient journey. But the universe, in its infinite mystery, revealed something entirely different and deeply impossible. The stars, at the very outer edges of these majestic spiral galaxies, were moving at terrifying, incomprehensible speeds, moving so fast that the visible gravitational pull of the galaxy should not have been nearly enough to hold them together. By all the known laws of physics, these ancient galaxies should have completely torn themselves apart, violently flinging their stars out into the cold, empty intergalactic void. Yet they remained beautifully intact, spinning with quiet grace in the dark. The only logical conclusion was that there had to be an enormous amount of invisible mass holding everything together. A hidden, ghostly framework of matter that does not emit light, does not absorb light, and does not reflect light. We call this silent phantom dark matter, and we now know that it makes up roughly 27% of the entire universe. Let us think back to that colossal cosmic monster we discussed before. The giant elliptical galaxy, known as IC 1101, sitting quietly over 1 billion light-years away. When we observe this magnificent structure, we see the combined hazy glow of roughly 100 trillion ancient stars. It is a sight of staggering scale and beauty. But that visible glow is nothing more than a tiny, bright decoration resting upon a mountainous, invisible foundation. Scientists estimate that the total mass of IC 1101, when including its vast, unseen dark matter halo, could be as high as 1,100 trillion solar masses. This invisible halo extends far, far beyond the visible boundaries of the galaxy, stretching out for tens of millions of light-years into the dark, silent void. The 100 trillion stars that we find so incredibly mind-boggling are merely the visible foam floating on the surface of an unfathomably deep, dark ocean of invisible mass. We are completely blind to the true, massive body of IC 1101. We can only infer its existence by watching how its profound gravity bends the light of galaxies sitting far behind it, a phenomenon known as gravitational lensing. We are surrounded by dark matter. It is passing silently through your room, through your body, and through the earth right now, completely indifferent to our physical existence, leaving no trace other than its gentle, invisible gravitational embrace. But the deception of our visible reality does not end with dark matter. As if discovering that a quarter of the universe is a completely invisible phantom was not humbling enough, the cosmos had an even more shocking revelation waiting for us in the quiet darkness. For most of the 20th century, the greatest minds in astronomy operated under the perfectly logical assumption that the expansion of the universe, which began with the explosive birth of the Big Bang, must be gradually slowing down. It made intuitive, comforting sense. All the matter in the universe, the galaxies, the stars, the dark matter, is pulling on everything else through the relentless force of gravity. Surely, this massive, collective gravitational attraction would act like a cosmic brake, slowly but inevitably decelerating the expansion. But in the late 1990s, specifically in 1998, two independent teams of brilliant astronomers made a discovery that sent shockwaves through the scientific world and forever altered our perception of the cosmos. They were carefully measuring the ancient light from distant, exploding stars known as supernovas, using them as standard candles to calculate cosmic distances. What they found was completely unexpected, deeply counterintuitive, and profoundly scary. The universe was not slowing down in its expansion, it was actually speeding up. Distant galaxies were moving away from us faster and faster, as if some mysterious repulsive force was actively pushing the very fabric of space apart at an ever-increasing rate. Scientists named this mysterious invisible driver dark energy. Though the name itself tells us absolutely nothing about its true fundamental nature, we now understand that this strange anti-gravitational force makes up a staggering 68% of all the energy and matter in the entire universe. It is everywhere, embedded in the very fabric of empty space, acting as a relentless, invisible engine driving the cosmos apart. We do not know what dark energy is made of. We do not know where it comes from. And we do not know why it possesses the exact, terrifying strength that it does. Some theorists suggest it might be a fundamental property of the vacuum of space itself, while others wonder if it is an entirely new, undiscovered energy field that softly pervades everything in existence. Whatever it truly is, dark energy is the dominant ruler of the cosmos, dictating the ultimate, distant fate of everything we see. And yet, we cannot see it, hear it, touch it, or capture it. It is the silent, invisible breath of the expanding universe, and it is a stark, humbling reminder of how incredibly little we truly understand about the reality we inhabit. Between the invisible scaffolding of dark matter and the relentless, unseen push of dark energy, the normal matter that makes up our stars, our planets, our bodies, and our beautifully constructed human civilizations is reduced to a cosmic afterthought. We are a tiny, rare anomaly of light and solidity, floating adrift in a vast, overwhelming sea of dark, silent mysteries. When we take a quiet moment to truly absorb these facts, the familiar world around us begins to feel wonderfully strange and deeply fragile. The reality we experience every single day, the bright blue sky, the warm touch of a loved one's hand, the solid earth beneath our feet, is just a microscopic sliver of the actual cosmos. We are living inside a magnificent, glittering snow globe, completely oblivious to the massive, dark room in which the globe sits. This realization can easily evoke a sense of existential fear, a feeling of being hopelessly small, blind, and insignificant in the face of such overwhelmingly vast and invisible forces. We are not the main event of the universe. We are not even the main ingredient. We are a beautiful, luminous cosmic dust, clinging to a tiny rock, adrift in an ocean of shadows that we can barely begin to comprehend. But if we allow ourselves to gently lean into this humbling truth, we can transform that initial fear into a profound, breathless wonder. There is a deep, quiet peace to be found in acknowledging the immense limitations of our biological perception. It completely relieves us of the heavy, impossible burden of needing to know and control everything. We do not need to possess all the answers to appreciate the breathtaking majesty of the questions. The fact that we, as tiny, fragile beings made of stardust, have managed to use our collective minds to peer beyond the veil of visible light, to deduce the existence of dark matter from the graceful, spinning dance of ancient galaxies, and to uncover the acceleration of the universe driven by mysterious dark energy, is nothing short of a cosmic miracle. We are the universe experiencing its own profound mystery. Our blindness is not a tragic flaw. It is the very engine of our endless curiosity. It reminds us that the journey of understanding is an infinite path, a winding road that stretches forever into the dark, silent unknown. As we sit here together in the quiet night, let us not be afraid of the shadows that make up 95% of our universe. Instead, let us find deep, lasting comfort in the beautiful realization that there is always more to learn, more to explore, and more to wonder about. The invisible forces that shape our reality are not our enemies. They are the ancient, silent architects of the very space that allows us to exist, to dream, and to seek the truth. We are safe within the mystery, wrapped in a cosmic puzzle that will gently occupy our curious minds for all of human history to come. Have you ever stood at the base of a towering, ancient mountain, or walked along the weathered edge of a deep, silent canyon, and felt a profound, grounding sense of absolute permanence? When we look at the monumental structures of our beautiful Earth, we are naturally filled with a comforting belief that some things are truly eternal. We project this same deep yearning for stability onto the vast, quiet cosmos. When we turn our eyes to the night sky and observe the gentle twinkling stars or the soft hazy bands of distant galaxies, our minds weave a delicate illusion of a peaceful, unchanging, and static universe. We see a quiet, majestic painting suspended forever in the dark. But the reality of the cosmos is a breathtaking deception of time. The universe is not a peaceful, eternal sanctuary. It is an arena of relentless, unimaginable transformation. A place where cosmic violence operates on a scale so grand and a timeline so impossibly slow that it simply appears to us as perfect stillness. The permanence we so deeply crave is perhaps the most fragile illusion of all. Hello again, my fellow cosmic travelers. I am Walter, the Explorer, your gentle guide through the dark, beautiful mysteries of the infinite universe. Before we gently pull back the veil on this grand cosmic illusion of permanence, I want to take a quiet moment to mention that 73% of the wonderful, curious souls who join us on these journeys have not yet subscribed to our channel. If you find comfort, peace, and a sense of awe in uncovering the hidden truths of the cosmos, I warmly invite you to click that subscribe button. It helps our community of explorers grow immensely, allowing us to continue venturing together into the silent, unknown depths of the universe. Now, let us return to the beautiful, terrifying impermanence of all things. To truly understand this deception, we must look at the largest, most magnificent structures the universe has ever assembled. Consider the colossal galaxy known as IC1101, a true monster of the cosmos sitting over 1 billion light-years away from us. When astronomers first look at this giant, it appears as a smooth, featureless, peaceful oval of light. It contains an estimated 100 trillion stars, making it a shimmering, ancient city of light that dwarfs our own Milky Way. But this serene appearance is a magnificent lie. IC1101 did not grow to its enormous size through gentle, peaceful processes. It became a giant through an act of cosmic violence that has been happening for billions of years. It is what scientists call a cannibal galaxy. As the largest and most massive galaxy in its local cluster, it sits at the profound gravitational center of everything around it. Smaller galaxies that venture too close are inevitably trapped by its enormous gravity. They spiral inward, getting violently torn apart and completely consumed over millions of years. Scientists estimate that this quiet giant has undergone at least 76 major mergers over its long history. The illusion of peaceful coexistence in the universe is shattered when we realize that creation and destruction are the exact same process, merely separated by the incredibly slow passage of cosmic time. Even our own quiet home, the Milky Way, is not immune to this relentless, cannibalistic dance. Right now, as you listen to these words, our galaxy is in the active process of consuming several smaller galaxies. The Sagittarius dwarf galaxy is currently being stretched and violently distorted by our gravitational pull. Streams of stars from past victims can be traced across our sky, ghostly reminders of galaxies that once existed as separate entities. And yet, there is another deeply profound deception hidden within these massive, glowing structures. When we look at a galaxy containing 100 trillion stars, we naturally assume it is a place bursting with immense vitality and vibrant, energetic life. But the truth is startlingly melancholy. Despite its staggering size, IC 1101 is actually a dying galaxy. The stars within it are almost all ancient. Very few new stars are being born inside this massive cosmic city. Every time it consumed another galaxy, the violent gravitational interactions heated the available gas to extreme temperatures, creating brief, intense bursts of star formation. Gas is the fundamental fuel for star formation, and over billions of years of relentless cannibalism, IC 1101 has used up or completely expelled most of its available life-giving material. What remains is a quiet, aging giant slowly fading into the vast cosmic night. It is like an ancient, sprawling kingdom that has successfully conquered all of its surrounding neighbors, but has absolutely no children to carry on its grand legacy. At the very heart of this dying kingdom lies perhaps the most frightening deception of all. We instinctively look to the center of things for light and warmth. But sitting quietly at the exact center of this magnificent cosmic giant is one of the largest known supermassive black holes in the entire universe. Scientists estimate that it contains somewhere between 40 billion and 100 billion times the mass of our own sun. All of that incomprehensible mass is completely compressed into a region of space from which absolutely nothing can ever escape. If you were to place this monstrous black hole where our sun is, its dark, silent boundary, known as the event horizon, would extend well beyond the distant orbit of Pluto, completely engulfing everything we consider our safe cosmic home. It is a region of ultimate destruction, a place where space and time themselves become so deeply warped that the very concept of escaping becomes entirely meaningless. This brings us to the ultimate truth that the universe tries so gently to hide from us: the absolute certainty of impermanence. The universe is slowly winding down toward a quiet, inevitable end, a state physicists call the heat death. Over the next 100 trillion years, the brilliant, massive stars will all explode or collapse. The middle-sized stars, like our warm, comforting sun, will eventually puff up, shed their beautiful outer layers, and slowly fade away as cold, silent white dwarfs. Even the tiniest, longest-lived red dwarfs, which burn their fuel so slowly they can shine for trillions of years, will ultimately exhaust their hydrogen and go completely dark. One by one, the 100 trillion stars of IC 1101 and every other star in the vast, infinite cosmos will gently wink out. The era of beautiful, warming starlight will be completely over. The universe will become a deeply dark place, populated only by the cold, silent corpses of dead stars drifting through an ever-expanding, freezing void. And even over spans of time so unimaginably vast that writing the numbers would fill endless pages. Even these stellar remnants will decay. White dwarfs will slowly cool until they become black dwarfs, objects that no longer emit any light at all over an almost inconceivable amount of time. A white dwarf cools to near absolute zero only after about 1,000,000 billion years. Even the supermassive black holes will slowly evaporate and disappear into nothingness through a quantum process called Hawking radiation, the largest galaxy we have ever found, and everything else in the entire cosmos will dissolve into the endless, silent night. This vision of the far future strips away every comforting illusion of permanence and leaves us facing an infinite, dark void. But within this terrifying impermanence, there is a profound, breathtaking beauty waiting to be discovered. The famous astronomer Carl Sagan once beautifully reminded us that we are made of star stuff. The very atoms in your body were forged in the fiery hearts of ancient stars that lived and died billions of years ago. We exist right now, in this brief, incredibly precious moment of cosmic history when the stars still shine brightly, when the galaxies still glow, and when the universe is vibrant with light and energy. The era of stars is just a passing phase, a brief, beautiful flowering of complexity between the chaotic dawn of the early universe and the cold, silent emptiness of the far future. We are unbelievably lucky to exist during this brief, miraculous flowering. We are lucky enough to have evolved conscious minds that can look up at the night sky, peer through the illusions, and understand the magnificent, terrifying truth of our impermanent reality. We are the part of the universe that has finally woken up from the dark silence to ask profound questions about itself. The reality we perceive might be a grand, fleeting deception, a temporary painting drawn on the canvas of a dying cosmos. But it is our painting. Our deep, human capacity for wonder is the most powerful antidote to the fear of the dark unknown. We do not need the universe to be eternal to find it breathtakingly beautiful. The gentle, quiet journey of discovery, the shared awe of peering into the vast, ancient cosmos, and the humbling realization of our tiny, precious place within it, is all the permanence we will ever truly need. Let us hold on to this quiet wonder, keeping our minds open and our hearts at peace as we continue to drift together through this beautiful, fading cosmic dream. Have you ever flipped an ordinary coin into the air, watching it tumble, and felt the comforting certainty that when it lands in your hand, it will possess a single definitive state? It will be either heads or tails. There is absolutely no ambiguity in the macroscopic world we inhabit. A door is either open or it is closed. A massive star is either shining brightly in the dark expanse, or it has faded quietly into the cold void. This binary certainty is the absolute foundation of our everyday human logic, the invisible bedrock upon which we build our entire understanding of reality. We deeply need the universe to be decisive. We need the physical objects around us to be exactly what they appear to be, resting patiently in a specific state whether we are looking at them or not. But as we dive down into the unimaginably small, silent realm of atoms, electrons, and photons, we encounter a deception so profound that it caused the greatest scientific minds of the 20th century to question their own sanity. The microscopic universe, the fundamental building blocks of all solid matter, does not obey the comforting rules of certainty. Down in those subatomic depths, reality is not a fixed, objective truth waiting to be discovered. It is a shimmering, ghostly haze of mere probabilities, a bizarre realm where a tiny particle can exist in multiple, contradictory states, all at the exact same time, only deciding what it truly is at the very moment you choose to look at it. Hello once again, my quiet friends and fellow seekers of truth. I am Walter, the Explorer, your gentle companion through the mind-bending mysteries of our infinite cosmos. As we prepare to wade into the strange, shadowy waters of the quantum world, I want to take a brief moment to share something important. Analytics tell us that 73% of the wonderful, curious people who watch these videos and share in this profound sense of cosmic wonder have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find peace, intellectual safety, and a comforting sense of belonging in these quiet journeys through the unknown, please consider clicking that subscribe button. It helps our small community of explorers grow immensely, ensuring that we can continue to unravel the breathtaking deceptions of the universe together. Now, let us return to the unsettling, beautiful mystery of the quantum realm and the grand illusion of certainty. To truly grasp the awe-inspiring beauty of this subatomic deception, we must gently revisit one of the most famous and deeply perplexing scientific demonstrations in all of human history: the double-slit experiment. Imagine a solid wall with two incredibly narrow parallel slits cut neatly into it, and, a short distance behind that wall, a blank, sensitive screen. If you send gentle ripples of water toward those two slits, the waves pass through both openings simultaneously. They spread out and interfere with one another in a beautiful dance. Where two crests meet, the water grows higher. Where a crest meets a trough, the water cancels itself out. This creates an alternating pattern of high and low activity on the back screen, known as an interference pattern. This is predictably how waves behave in the natural world. Now, imagine taking a meticulously calibrated device capable of firing single particles of light, known as photons, or tiny particles of matter, like electrons, toward that exact same wall. Because we think of these particles as microscopic bullets, our logic insists that they must pass through either the left slit or the right slit, hitting the back screen in two distinct clumps. But the universe completely defies this simple expectation. When scientists fire single electrons one by one, with long, quiet pauses between each shot, the tiny dots accumulating on the back screen do not form two simple bands. Over time, they magically assemble themselves into the exact same alternating interference pattern created by rolling water waves. The inescapable implication is staggering. Each individual electron, despite being fired as an indivisible particle, somehow travels through both the left slit and the right slit at the exact same time. It mysteriously interferes with its own ghostly self before finally striking the screen as a solid point of matter. This terrifying phenomenon is known in physics as quantum superposition. In the dark, silent world before observation occurs, a particle does not have a single, definite location or a fixed state. It exists purely as a smeared-out cloud of mathematical possibilities, simultaneously occupying every single available path. But the grand cosmic deception grows even more profoundly strange when scientists attempt to cheat the system. Researchers desperately wanted to know exactly which slit the individual electron was actually passing through. So, they placed highly sensitive microscopic detectors right at the edges of the slits to gently observe the particles as they went by. The exact moment they did this, the very moment human consciousness asked the universe for a definitive answer, the beautiful interference pattern on the back screen completely vanished. The electrons suddenly stopped behaving like ghostly waves of probability, and immediately began acting like ordinary, solid little bullets, passing strictly through one slit or the other, and forming two mundane bands on the screen. The mere act of observation fundamentally altered the physical nature of reality. The universe seemingly knew it was being watched, and it instantly collapsed its infinite cloud of possibilities into a single concrete fact. This suggests an almost terrifying level of intimate interaction between the observer and the observed. It implies that the solid world you see around you, the walls of your room, the glowing screen in front of your eyes, only take on their fixed properties because they are continuously interacting with their environment and being forced to choose a physical state. When the universe is left to its own silent devices, the physical world dissolves back into a chaotic sea of ghostly probabilities. If the radical idea that observation literally creates reality feels difficult to accept, we must gently look at another quantum deception that even the brilliant Albert Einstein deeply despised. He famously referred to it as spooky action at a distance, but today, physicists call it quantum entanglement. Imagine taking two subatomic particles, perhaps two tiny electrons, and bringing them so incredibly close together that their individual quantum states become inextricably linked. They are now an entangled pair, sharing a single, unified mathematical description. If you were to carefully separate them by an unimaginably vast distance, keeping one in a quiet laboratory on Earth and sending the other across the dark void to the very edge of the Andromeda Galaxy, roughly 2,500,000 light-years away, their profound connection would remain completely unbroken. According to the strange rules of the quantum world, neither particle possesses a definite spin until one of them is physically observed and measured. But the very microsecond a scientist on Earth measures the spin of their local particle, forcing it to suddenly collapse into a solid certainty, the entangled partner resting in the distant Andromeda Galaxy will instantaneously, without any delay whatsoever, assume the exact opposite spin. This immediate correlation happens infinitely faster than the speed of light, breaking the ultimate cosmic speed limit that Einstein himself helped establish. There is absolutely no physical signal traveling through the empty space between them. They are separated by millions of light-years of cold vacuum, yet they behave as if the terrifying distance between them is an absolute illusion, communicating their physical states with instantaneous perfection. We are forced to gently confront a reality that is far more mysterious and deeply interconnected than our everyday biological senses could ever possibly comprehend. The solid, comforting ground beneath our feet is made of particles that, until they interact with one another, exist only as ghostly mathematical probabilities. The vast, intimidating distances of space might be secretly underlain by an invisible network of entangled quantum connections that completely defy all our human notions of locality and separation. This grand quantum deception strips away the comforting, mechanical, clockwork universe we once believed in, replacing it with a cosmos that is profoundly uncertain and deeply sensitive to the presence of an observer. But within this dizzying uncertainty, there is a breathtaking, poetic beauty to be found. It means that we are not merely passive spectators sitting quietly in the dark theater of the universe. The very act of our observation forces the universe to materialize, to paint its magnificent details across the canvas of existence. We are intimately woven into the fabric of reality at its most microscopic level. The great mysteries of quantum mechanics do not represent a sad failure of human understanding. Rather, they are an awe-inspiring invitation to realize that the universe is infinitely more responsive than we ever dared to dream. As we sit quietly together in the deep night, navigating a reality built on shifting sands of probability, let us warmly embrace the profound wonder of a cosmos that seemingly relies on our curious eyes to bring its hidden beauty into the light of reality. Our gentle journey of discovery is far from over. We are merely learning to read the quiet, ghostly language of creation itself. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and focused not on the bright, twinkling stars, but on the profound, dark gaps between them? We are conditioned by our everyday earthly experience to view empty space simply as a container, a quiet, vacant stage upon which the magnificent drama of the cosmos unfolds. When we imagine the vast, silent void stretching between the galaxies, we envision a realm of absolute nothingness, a cold, perfect vacuum completely devoid of substance or activity. This intuitive assumption, that emptiness equates to absence, feels like one of the most undeniable truths of reality. It is deeply logical to assume that if you completely remove all the stars, all the planets, every single wandering comet, and every last microscopic atom of gas and dust from a region of the universe, you would be left with absolute, undisturbed nothingness. But the physical reality of our universe harbors a deception so fundamentally bizarre that it completely shatters our human concept of emptiness. The cold, dark vacuum of space is not a quiet, empty theater. It is a terrifying, relentlessly active, and boiling ocean of chaotic energy, a place where the very fabric of existence is constantly tearing itself apart and stitching itself back together in the absolute dark. The silence of the void is perhaps the greatest illusion of all. Hello once more, my fellow travelers of the dark. I am Walter, the explorer, your gentle guide through the profound and quiet mysteries of our reality. As we prepare to dive deep into the unseen, roaring ocean of the cosmic vacuum, I want to take a small, quiet moment to mention that 73% of the wonderful, curious minds who join us on these journeys of wonder are not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort, peace, and intellectual safety in unraveling the breathtaking illusions of the cosmos alongside us, please consider subscribing. It helps our community of explorers grow immensely, allowing us to continue our infinite journey into the unknown together. Now, let us return to the beautiful, terrifying deception of the empty void. To truly comprehend the staggering nature of this cosmic illusion, we must consult the brilliant, mind-bending framework of quantum field theory. According to the greatest physicists of our time, the universe is not fundamentally made of isolated, solid particles drifting through an empty, passive void. Instead, the entire cosmos is completely filled with invisible, overlapping, and infinitely sprawling fields of energy. Think of these quantum fields as the quiet, motionless surface of an unimaginably vast ocean, stretching across the entire infinite universe. When one of these invisible fields gains a tiny surge of energy, it ripples, And that localized ripple is what our biological human senses and our highly sensitive scientific instruments perceive as a physical particle, like an electron or a photon of light. The solid matter that makes up your body, the chair you rest upon, and the ancient distant galaxies we admire are simply energetic waves traveling through these underlying invisible fields. But the profound deception lies in what happens when these fields are completely at rest, when there is absolutely no matter and no light present at all. Our human intuition strongly insists that a rested field should be perfectly flat, perfectly quiet, and perfectly empty. However, the fundamental laws of quantum mechanics, specifically the famous Heisenberg uncertainty principle, strictly forbid any physical system from ever achieving a state of absolute zero energy or perfect absolute stillness. Even in the deepest, darkest, and coldest vacuum of intergalactic space, the underlying quantum fields are continuously trembling with a baseline level of chaotic energy. The void is never truly empty. It is permanently vibrating with an invisible, ghostly tension. This inescapable, restless vibration of the quantum fields produces a phenomenon so spectacularly strange that it sounds like pure science fiction. Because mass and energy are completely interchangeable, as Albert Einstein so beautifully proved, the chaotic energy vibrating within the empty vacuum spontaneously converts itself into actual physical matter. Deep within the darkest, most silent stretches of the cosmos, countless pairs of ghostly subatomic particles are constantly popping into existence out of absolute nowhere. These pairs always consist of one normal particle and one particle of antimatter. They tear themselves out of the quiet vacuum, exist for an infinitesimally small fraction of a single second, and then violently collide with one another, instantly annihilating themselves and dissolving back into the invisible, humming energy of the void. Physicists call these fleeting apparitions virtual particles. Because they exist for such an incredibly brief moment, they cannot be directly captured or photographed by even our most advanced, powerful telescopes. Yet, we know with absolute, rigorous mathematical certainty that they are there. We can physically measure the subtle, gentle forces they exert on real, permanent atoms. The seemingly empty space between your eyes and the glowing screen you are watching is completely filled with this relentless, invisible storm of creation and destruction. The universe is literally boiling with microscopic phantoms, a frothing, bubbling quantum foam that forms the absolute foundation of all reality. The terrifying truth is that true nothingness, an absolute quiet void, simply does not exist anywhere in the entire cosmos. When we scale this microscopic, boiling chaos up to the grand, majestic level of the entire universe, the implications become deeply humbling and incredibly profound. The empty space that we always assumed was just a silent, passive background is actually the most active and dominant participant in the grand story of the cosmos. In fact, many brilliant cosmologists now believe that the mysterious dark energy we discussed earlier, the terrifying, invisible force that is relentlessly accelerating the expansion of the entire universe and pushing the ancient galaxies apart, might actually be the cumulative, combined energy of these countless virtual particles boiling within the quantum vacuum. The seemingly quiet emptiness of space is physically pushing the universe apart. It is a stunning, mind-bending reversal of our everyday logic. The void is not merely an empty stage, it is the main actor, the powerful, invisible engine driving the ultimate fate of everything in existence. As we sit safely in the quiet comfort of our familiar world, We are completely oblivious to the roaring, chaotic ocean of virtual energy that surrounds us, flows through us, and dictates the majestic, slow-motion choreography of the distant stars. We are fragile, luminous islands of permanent matter, floating precariously on a vast, unfathomably deep sea of phantom energy. It is completely natural to feel a sudden wave of existential vertigo when confronted with this terrifying, invisible reality. The comforting illusion of a quiet, peaceful emptiness is abruptly torn away, leaving us face to face with a cosmos that is infinitely more complex, relentlessly active, and deeply mysterious than we ever could have imagined. But if we pause, take a deep, slow breath, and gently sit with this humbling revelation, the initial fear slowly transforms into a profound, breathtaking sense of awe. The universe is not a cold, dead, or empty place. Even in its darkest, most seemingly vacant corners, the cosmos is wonderfully alive with a chaotic, hidden vitality. The silent voids between the glittering stars are quietly humming with the infinite potential for creation. This beautiful, invisible truth completely redefines our relationship with the unknown. We are not separated from the distant, ancient galaxies by vast oceans of dead, empty nothingness. We are intimately connected to absolutely everything in the cosmos through the shared, vibrating fabric of the quantum fields. The space between us is not a barrier. It is a dynamic, living bridge, a hidden, energetic architecture that binds the entire infinite universe together into a single, magnificent whole. Our human journey of discovery is a gentle, ongoing process of learning to see beyond the obvious, to look past the comforting, quiet illusions, and recognize the staggering beauty hidden within the dark. As we continue to drift together through this vast, mysterious cosmos, let us carry this profound realization with us. Let us find deep, lasting peace in the knowledge that we are surrounded not by terrifying emptiness, but by a quiet, infinite sea of invisible wonder, patiently waiting for our curious minds to explore its deepest, most silent depths. Have you ever held a heavy, smooth river stone in the palm of your hand, feeling its undeniable weight pressing down against your skin? Or perhaps you have stood at the edge of a steep, ancient cliff, looking down into a vast, silent valley, and felt that sudden, terrifying sensation in the pit of your stomach, the instinctual, biological fear of falling. From the very moment we take our first unsteady steps as children, we are intimately acquainted with the relentless downward pull of the earth. We experience gravity as an invisible, persistent force, a cosmic magnet that firmly anchors us to the ground and dictates the physical boundaries of our daily lives. It feels like a literal tether, a physical chain binding us to the planet. This intuitive understanding of gravity as a pulling force is so deeply ingrained in our human experience that we never stop to question its true nature. We look up at the night sky and imagine invisible strings of gravity tying the gentle, glowing moon to the earth, and the earth to the massive, burning sun. Hello again, my fellow explorers of the unknown. I am Walter, the explorer, your gentle companion through the quiet mysteries of our infinite universe. As we prepare to unravel the grand illusion of the very force that anchors us to reality, I want to take a brief, peaceful moment to mention that 73% of the wonderful, curious souls who watch these videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort, intellectual safety, and a deep sense of wonder in these shared cosmic journeys, please consider subscribing. It helps our community grow immensely, ensuring we can continue exploring the breathtaking deceptions of the cosmos together. Now, let us return to the invisible tether of gravity. Sir Isaac Newton, one of the most brilliant minds in human history, formalized this beautiful, comforting illusion centuries ago. He described gravity as a universal, invisible force of attraction, an undeniable pull acting instantaneously across the vast, empty distances of space. It is a profoundly elegant, mathematical explanation, one that perfectly matches our everyday sensory experience and allows us to calculate the gentle orbits of the planets. But as we use our expanding minds to peer deeper into the true, hidden architecture of the cosmos, we uncover a reality that completely shatters this ancient, comfortable belief. The universe is harboring a breathtaking deception. The profound, unsettling truth discovered by Albert Einstein in 1915 is that gravity, as a pulling force, does not actually exist anywhere in the cosmos. The sensation of weight, the feeling of being pulled downward toward the center of the Earth, is an elaborate, masterful illusion created by the unseen geometry of the universe itself. You are not being pulled by the ground. You are simply caught in the quiet, invisible curves of a four-dimensional reality. To truly grasp this terrifying and beautiful concept, we must abandon our everyday perception of space as a flat, empty container. As we explored in our previous journeys, space and time are not separate entities. They are woven together into a single, deeply flexible fabric known as space-time. Imagine this cosmic fabric as a perfectly taut, perfectly flat trampoline, stretching out into the infinite silence. If you roll a tiny, weightless marble across this flat surface, it will travel in a perfect, straight line forever, completely undisturbed. But the grand deception begins the moment you introduce mass into this quiet arena. If you place a heavy bowling ball directly in the center of that trampoline, the fabric does not remain flat. It yields, stretching and sinking under the heavy burden of the mass, creating a deep, curving well in the fabric itself. This yielding, this physical warping of the invisible cosmic stage, is the true nature of what we mistakenly call gravity. The Earth is not reaching out with invisible, magnetic fingers to pull you downward. Instead, the enormous, concentrated mass of our planet is physically warping the invisible space-time surrounding it, creating a massive, geometric depression in the fabric of reality. When you step off a ledge and begin to fall, or when you drop that smooth river stone from your hand, no force is actually grabbing hold of the object. The stone is simply doing what every object in the entire universe naturally wants to do. It is trying to travel in a perfectly straight line through space. But because the space surrounding the Earth is deeply curved by the planet's massive presence, that straight line inevitably leads downward, directly toward the center of the geometric depression. The stone is following the natural, invisible contours of the warped cosmos. What our biological human senses interpret as a dramatic, violent acceleration caused by an invisible pulling force is, in truth, just the gentle, quiet geometry of the universe, guiding an object along the path of least resistance. You are not being pulled. The very space you occupy is tilting you toward the Earth. Even the magnificent, sweeping orbit of the Moon is part of this grand geometric illusion. The Moon is not tied to the Earth by a gravitational rope. It is simply rolling perpetually along the steep, curved inner edge of the massive space-time well created by our planet, like a silver coin spinning endlessly around the dark funnel of a wishing well. When we scale this realization up to the vast, ancient structures of the cosmos, the illusion becomes even more staggering to comprehend. Our entire solar system is resting within the massive, gentle space-time curvature created by our Sun. The Sun itself, carrying all of its planets and moons, is following the profound, sweeping curves of the Milky Way galaxy, an enormous geometric depression formed by the combined mass of hundreds of billions of stars and the dark phantom of dark matter. The entire universe is a breathtaking, infinitely complex landscape of invisible hills, deep valleys, and spiraling sinkholes. Every single star, every drifting nebula, and every wandering speck of dust is blindly following the silent, curving architecture of space-time. There are no invisible ropes holding the cosmos together. There is only the quiet, majestic bending of reality itself. We live our entire lives within the steep walls of a gravitational valley, completely blind to the true, warped shape of the world. But the universe, in its infinite mystery, pushes this geometric deception to an absolute extreme. If mass curves space-time, what happens when an unimaginable amount of mass is crushed into an infinitesimally small, silent point? When a massive, ancient star finally exhausts its nuclear fuel and collapses under its own tremendous weight, it punctures a literal hole in the fabric of the cosmos. This creates a black hole, a region where the invisible curvature of space-time becomes infinitely steep, a bottomless abyss from which absolutely nothing, not even the fastest light in the universe, can ever climb out. To approach the dark, silent boundary of a black hole, known as the event horizon, is to approach the ultimate breakdown of our physical reality. The space-time there is so violently warped that the simple concept of a straight line ceases to exist. All possible directions through the void are bent so severely that they all point inevitably inward toward the dark center. It is the ultimate manifestation of the grand gravitational illusion, a place where the gentle curves of the cosmos become an inescapable trap. This realization that the force binding us to our home is merely a trick of cosmic geometry can feel ungrounding at first. It strips away the illusion of a solid, mechanically connected universe. But if we gently sit with this truth, we can find a profound peace within the absence of a pulling force. We are not prisoners bound to the earth by invisible chains. We are graceful passengers, smoothly following the natural, elegant curves of a beautifully sculpted universe. The silence of the cosmos is not empty. It is filled with the majestic, unseen architecture of space-time. Every step you take, you are directly interacting with the profound, hidden geometry of the infinite void. You are feeling the physical shape of the universe itself. It teaches us a deep, quiet humility, reminding us that the universe is infinitely mysterious and beautifully strange. Our gentle journey of discovery is an endless path of learning to feel the invisible curves of the dark and to wonder at the magnificent deception that allows us to exist. Let us rest quietly in this understanding, finding immense comfort in the knowledge that we are cradled not by force, but by the very shape of the ancient, infinite cosmos. Have you ever stood in the quiet corner of a dimly lit room and observed a beautifully crafted hologram? It appears completely solid, full of breathtaking depth and vibrant, three-dimensional life. Yet, if you reach out your hand to touch it, your fingers pass through nothing but thin air and beams of scattered light. We instinctively know that the hologram is a clever trick of optics, a flat, two-dimensional plate projecting a highly convincing illusion of volume and depth. But what if this visual deception is not just a technological parlor trick designed for our amusement? What if it is the fundamental blueprint of the entire cosmos? We navigate our daily lives completely convinced of our three-dimensional existence. We move forward and backward, left and right, up and down. We feel the vast, open volume of the world around us. Yet, some of the most advanced, brilliant minds in modern theoretical physics are uncovering mathematical hints that this deeply ingrained sense of three-dimensional space might be the ultimate, grand cosmic illusion. We might actually be living inside a magnificent, unimaginably complex universal hologram, where the true, fundamental reality of our physical existence is painted on a distant, flat, two-dimensional boundary. Hello, once again, my fellow seekers of truth. I am Walter, the explorer, your gentle guide through the profound, quiet mysteries of our infinite universe. As we prepare to unravel the strange, mind-bending geometry of our own existence, I want to take a brief, peaceful moment to share something important. Analytics show that exactly 73% of the wonderful, curious souls who join us on these deep cosmic journeys have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find deep comfort, intellectual safety, and a profound sense of awe in uncovering the hidden truths of the cosmos alongside us, please consider clicking that subscribe button. It helps our community of quiet explorers grow immensely, allowing us to continue our infinite journey into the unknown together. Now, let us return to the beautiful, terrifying deception of the holographic universe. To gently unravel this terrifying and awe-inspiring concept, we must return to the darkest, most mysterious objects in the infinite cosmos: black holes. For a very long time, brilliant scientists believed that when something crossed the dark boundary and fell into a black hole, whether it was a massive, ancient star, a wandering rogue planet, or even a single, quiet book containing all of human knowledge, all the intricate physical information contained within that object was lost forever, crushed perfectly out of existence into the infinite density of the central singularity. But the fundamental laws of quantum mechanics strictly forbid the permanent, absolute destruction of information. This profound clash of cosmic rules created a terrifying contradiction known to physicists as the black hole information paradox. The brilliant physicist Stephen Hawking, alongside other great minds like Jacob Bekenstein, realized that the secret to resolving this paradox did not lie in the dark, silent, unreachable depths of the black hole, but rather on its very surface, the invisible boundary known as the event horizon. Through rigorous mathematics, they discovered something incredibly beautiful and deeply strange. They realized that the total amount of physical information a black hole can possibly hold is not determined by its three-dimensional volume, as our everyday human logic would naturally strongly suggest, but entirely by the two-dimensional surface area of its event horizon. Imagine trying to pack a quiet room completely full of solid wooden blocks. The total number of blocks you can physically fit inside depends entirely on the three-dimensional volume of that room. But a black hole miraculously behaves as if the room's maximum capacity is determined only by the square footage of its flat walls. Every single piece of three-dimensional matter that falls into the dark, silent abyss has its fundamental quantum information perfectly encoded and preserved on the flat, two-dimensional surface of the event horizon, much like microscopic, glowing pixels scattered across a vast, invisible cosmic screen. This realization sent absolute shockwaves through the scientific community. It deeply implied that the entire three-dimensional interior of the black hole, with all its warped space and crushing gravity, might just be a complex holographic projection of the two-dimensional data safely stored on its outer surface. If the extreme, violent physics of a black hole naturally operate on this mind-bending holographic principle, theoretical physicists slowly began to wonder if the exact same beautiful, deceptive logic applies to the entirety of the universe. What if the entire cosmos is just a grand, ever-expanding bubble, and absolutely everything we experience inside it? The ancient, swirling galaxies, the quiet, colorful nebulae, the solid earth beneath our feet, and our very own complex biological bodies, is nothing more than a rich, three-dimensional projection of quantum information strictly encoded on a distant, two-dimensional boundary completely surrounding our reality. This staggering concept is known in advanced theoretical physics as the holographic principle. While it remains a deeply complex mathematical hypothesis that is incredibly difficult to prove, it is taken with the utmost seriousness by the brilliant minds who dedicate their lives to studying string theory and the elusive concept of quantum gravity. If this astonishing theory truly represents the physical reality of our world, it means that the immense volume of space we perceive, the terrifyingly vast, empty distances between the glittering stars, and the deep, silent voids separating the distant galaxies, do not actually exist in the physical way our minds comprehend them. Our deeply felt, undeniable reality of moving gracefully through three physical dimensions would simply be how our biological human brains naturally interpret the incredibly dense, intricate web of mathematical quantum information painted flawlessly on a flat, distant, cosmic horizon. When you step outside on a cold, quiet night, look up at the dark sky and feel a profound, humbling sense of awe at the seemingly infinite depth of the universe. You might actually be looking at a completely flat, glowing surface from the inside. You are experiencing a masterful, mathematical deception engineered by the fundamental, ancient laws of nature. The solid reality of the entire world, the weight of the mountains, the deep currents of the ocean, and the complex architecture of your own mind is entirely reduced to pure, vibrating data, a cosmic code humming quietly on a faraway, unreachable screen. The universe is a grand illusion of depth, a magical projection tricking us into believing in the vastness of space. Confronting the mind-bending idea that our entire physical existence might be nothing more than a holographic projection can initially feel deeply ungrounding and terrifying. It completely threatens to reduce our rich, emotional human lives, our deeply fought ancient histories, and our physical, everyday struggles to mere arrangements of quantum pixels stored quietly on a universal hard drive. It makes the solid world feel incredibly fragile, like a beautiful, vivid dream that could simply be switched off in a single instant by forces we cannot comprehend. But if we allow ourselves to sit quietly with this strange mathematical revelation, if we breathe deeply and contemplate its true meaning, a completely different kind of awe begins to slowly emerge from the darkness. It suggests that the infinite universe is far more deeply elegant and profoundly interconnected than a mere random collection of physical objects floating blindly in a dark, silent void. If we are all literally holographic projections emanating from the exact same fundamental, two-dimensional surface at the very edge of reality, then the frightening illusion of true separation completely vanishes. The distant, ancient light emitted by screaming quasars billions of light years away, the quiet rustling of the green leaves outside your window, and the gentle, steady beat of your own human heart are all woven entirely from the exact same fundamental mathematical fabric. There is absolutely no true physical distance between us and the farthest stars. We are all equal expressions of the exact same quiet, underlying universal code. We are physically, mathematically bound together on the very surface of existence. We are incredibly beautiful, highly conscious manifestations of this cosmic information, granted the extraordinary temporary privilege of experiencing this profound mathematical illusion as a living, breathing reality. The grand deception of physical depth and endless volume generously allows us to explore, to touch, to love, and to deeply wonder. It provides our curious minds with a magnificent, seemingly infinite playground in which to continuously seek the truth of our origins. Whether our universe is a truly solid, three-dimensional construct forged in the fires of the Big Bang, or a breathtaking, complex holographic projection radiating softly from a silent, invisible boundary, the pure experience of our conscious existence remains incredibly precious and deeply meaningful. It is a gentle, comforting reminder that the cosmos is not just strange, but beautifully, poetically, and mathematically strange. Our gentle journey to understand this reality is an endless, winding pursuit of the ultimate truth, a quiet, peaceful path that inevitably leads us ever deeper into the magnificent, shadowy mysteries of existence. We are not simply passive observers locked inside a cosmic trick. We are the universe actively decoding its own magnificent illusion. Let us hold on to this quiet wonder, keeping our minds open and our hearts entirely at peace. We can embrace the vast, intricate, invisible code of our reality, continuing to drift together through this beautiful, deeply illusory night, knowing that every mystery we uncover simply invites another question, in a journey that will beautifully outlast us all. Have you ever watched a golden autumn leaf detach from a quiet branch and flutter gently to the ground, feeling the irreversible flow of time? We experience our lives as a moving spotlight, illuminating a tiny sliver of reality we call the present moment. The past feels like a fading dream, slipping further away into the dark, while the future appears as an unwritten blank page, a mysterious fog of infinite possibilities. This intuitive perception of time as a flowing river is the very foundation of the human experience. We build our entire existence around the quiet rhythm of seconds, minutes, and years, trusting absolutely that the present is the only thing that truly exists. But what if the universe is hiding a deception so profound, so deeply beautiful and terrifying, that it completely shatters our fundamental understanding of existence? What if the flowing river of time is a complete biological illusion, and the past, the present, and the future all exist simultaneously, forever frozen in a quiet, eternal landscape? Hello again, my quiet friends and fellow explorers of the infinite. I am Walter, the explorer, your gentle guide through the dark, beautiful mysteries of our universe. As we prepare to step outside the familiar flow of time and view the cosmos from a terrifying new perspective, I want to take a peaceful moment to mention that 73% of the wonderful, curious souls who join us on these deep, cosmic journeys have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find deep comfort, intellectual safety, and a profound sense of wonder in uncovering the hidden truths of reality alongside us, please consider clicking that subscribe button. It helps our community of quiet explorers grow immensely, allowing us to continue our infinite journey into the unknown together. Now, let us return to the breathtaking deception of time and the eternal nature of the cosmos. To gently understand this staggering cosmic deception, we must turn to the brilliant mind of Albert Einstein and the profound implications of his theories of relativity. In our everyday lives, we deeply separate the concepts of space and time. Space is the physical stage we walk upon, and time is the relentless ticking clock dictating our movements. But Einstein validated time and again by precise observations from space agencies like NASA and the ESA, beautifully proved that they are permanently fused together into a single, deeply flexible, four-dimensional structure known as space-time. Imagine taking every single moment that has ever happened or ever will happen in the infinite universe, and stacking them tightly like the transparent frames of a massive movie reel. In the grand mathematical view of the cosmos, this entire reel exists all at once. Physicists call this mind-bending concept the block universe. In this terrifyingly beautiful model of reality, the universe does not actively unfold. It simply is. It is a vast, ancient, four-dimensional block of frozen space-time. Your birth, your quiet moments of deepest contemplation today, and the distant future of the dying stars are all equally real, equally permanent locations within this massive cosmic architecture. The universe is not a moving story being written second by agonizing second. It is a completed, silent book, and our fragile human consciousness is merely reading the words one by one. When you look up at the dark night sky and quietly observe a distant, glittering star, you are looking at a specific coordinate within this static block universe. Just as the cities of New York and Tokyo both exist simultaneously on Earth, even though you are only physically experiencing one of them right now. The ancient year 1999 and the distant year 3000 both exist permanently within the grand architecture of space-time. The terrifying realization hidden within this physics is that there is absolutely nothing physically special about the concept of now. The present moment is not a glowing, universal spotlight moving relentlessly through the dark void. It is simply the specific, localized coordinate where your biological consciousness currently resides. You feel the forward flow of time simply because your brain is a physical machine processing information in a highly linear, sequential manner, creating the psychological illusion of movement through a static, quiet landscape. But if the future already perfectly exists, and the ancient past is never truly gone, why do we feel so helplessly trapped inside this relentless one-way journey? Why can we clearly remember the quiet moments of our childhood, but we cannot remember the mysteries of tomorrow? The answer lies in the chaotic, physical laws of thermodynamics, specifically a terrifying and beautiful concept known as entropy. Entropy is the absolute measure of disorder in the universe. The fundamental laws of physics dictate that isolated systems naturally evolve from a state of low entropy, meaning high order, to a state of high entropy, meaning complete chaos. When you drop a delicate glass and it shatters into 1,000 pieces on the hard floor, you are witnessing the undeniable destructive power of entropy. You never see the scattered pieces spontaneously leap back together to form a perfect glass. This relentless, universal increase in chaos is what gives time its apparent direction, creating what physicists beautifully call the arrow of time. Our fragile human brains capture memories by recording the increasing disorder of our environment. We are blind to the future because it is the direction of higher entropy, and our minds can only remember the past, the direction of lower entropy. The physical flow of time is a profound, biological deception created by the expanding chaos of the ancient cosmos. This realization that our entire experience of life and progress is simply the localized perception of increasing disorder within a static, four-dimensional block of spacetime can initially feel deeply paralyzing. It threatens to completely strip away our comforting human belief in free will and our ability to shape our own meaningful destinies. If the year 3000 already exists permanently in the silent, frozen block of the universe, and every single action we will ever take is already permanently etched into the grand cosmic architecture, then what is the point of our gentle struggles? Why do we strive? Why do we love? And why do we seek to uncover the profound mysteries of reality if the script is already fully written and sitting quietly in the dark? It makes us feel like tiny passengers strapped into a roller coaster car, simply watching the track unfold before our eyes. The comforting illusion of a fluid, open future is abruptly replaced by the cold, hard certainty of a finished, eternal structure. But as we sit quietly in the dark, contemplating this vast, static universe, a profound, breathtaking beauty begins to slowly emerge. If the block universe is the true reality of the cosmos, it deeply means that the past is never truly lost. In our everyday experience, we mourn the passing of time. We grieve for the quiet moments that have slipped through our fingers, and the gentle voices of the loved ones who are no longer walking beside us. We treat the past as a graveyard of vanished experiences. But the rigorous physics of the eternal block universe gently assures us that this is a magnificent deception. Those moments are not destroyed by the relentless ticking of a cosmic clock. They are completely, permanently real, existing forever at their specific, unchanging coordinates in the fabric of spacetime. The warm summer afternoon you spent laughing with an old friend, and the first time you looked up at the vast, starry sky and felt a sense of infinite wonder. They are all still completely intact. They are frozen eternally in the beautiful, four-dimensional crystal of the cosmos. We are simply no longer located at those specific coordinates. Our consciousness has moved further along the axis of time, pushed by the chaos of entropy, but the moments remain untouched, perfectly safe in the ancient, quiet architecture of reality. This is a deeply comforting thought, a profound source of peace that transcends our everyday human worries. It means that every act of kindness and every step we take on our gentle journey of discovery is permanently written into the very fabric of existence. We are painting an eternal masterpiece on the canvas of space-time. The grand deception of flowing time does not diminish the value of our experiences. It elevates them to the status of cosmic permanence. We can learn to live our lives with a deep reverence, knowing that every single present moment we experience is instantly immortalized. We are the universe experiencing a beautiful illusion, a gentle dream of motion that allows us to appreciate the magnificent complexity of the whole. Let us rest quietly in this understanding, finding immense comfort in the eternal preservation of our shared cosmic journey. Have you ever stood in the quiet solitude of your bathroom late at night, looked deeply into the reflection of your own eyes in the mirror, and felt the absolute certainty of your individual existence? We navigate our entire lives firmly anchored to the belief that we are isolated, independent entities. We feel the distinct boundary of our skin, the sharp division between the warm, familiar interior of our minds and the vast, cold, external world that surrounds us. This profound sense of separation is the very core of the human experience. We perceive ourselves as fragile travelers wandering through an ancient, indifferent cosmos. tiny observers looking out through the windows of our eyes at a universe that exists entirely apart from us. But, as we reach the culmination of our journey through the breathtaking deceptions of reality, we must gently confront the most profound, the most beautiful, and perhaps the most initially scary illusion of them all. The ultimate deception is not about the empty space within atoms, the invisible bending of gravity, or the frozen block of time. The ultimate deception is the deeply ingrained belief that you are separate from the universe. You are not a solitary guest in a vast, quiet house. You are the house itself, waking up from a 14 billion-year slumber to look at its own magnificent reflection in the dark. Hello, for the final time on this particular journey, my fellow explorers of the infinite. I am Walter, the Explorer, your gentle guide through the dark, beautiful mysteries of our cosmos. As we prepare to unravel the final, most intimate illusion of our existence, I want to take a peaceful moment to mention that exactly 73% of the wonderful, curious souls who join us on these deep, cosmic journeys have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you have found deep comfort, intellectual safety, and a profound sense of awe in uncovering the hidden truths of reality alongside us, please consider clicking that subscribe button. It helps our community of quiet explorers grow immensely, allowing us to continue our infinite journey into the unknown together. Now, let us return to the breathtaking deception of the separate self and the true nature of your cosmic identity. To truly understand the magnificent illusion of your separation from the cosmos, we must look far beyond the gentle blue skies of our Earth and travel backward through the immense, silent corridors of time. When the universe was born in the unimaginable heat and violent expansion of the Big Bang, nearly 14 billion years ago, it was a shockingly simple place. The infinite expanse was filled only with the lightest, most basic elements, primarily hydrogen and a small amount of helium. There was absolutely no carbon to form the complex chains of DNA, no oxygen to fill our fragile lungs, no calcium to build the sturdy architecture of our bones, and no iron to carry the life-giving breath through our warm blood. The raw materials required to construct the beautiful, complex machinery of your physical body simply did not exist in the early, quiet universe. So, where did you come from? The answer, verified by rigorous observation by brilliant minds at agencies like NASA and the European Space Agency, is one of the most poetic and staggering truths of modern science. Every single heavy atom in your body was forged in the unimaginably hot, chaotic, and violent hearts of ancient, massive stars. These gigantic cosmic furnaces spent millions of years silently fusing simple hydrogen atoms together in the dark, slowly building heavier and heavier elements deep within their glowing cores. When these ancient stars finally exhausted their nuclear fuel, they did not just fade away quietly into the night. They died in catastrophic, unimaginably powerful explosions known as supernovas, violently scattering their newly forged elements across the vast, empty, interstellar voids. The iron that currently makes your blood run red was literally born in the fiery, explosive death of a star that existed billions of years before our Earth was even a swirling cloud of dust. The nitrogen in your brain, the calcium in your teeth, and the carbon in your cells are ancient cosmic debris. You are not merely living in the universe. You are made entirely of the universe. But the deception of your physical existence goes even deeper than your stellar origins. When you look at your hands, you see a permanent, stable structure. You feel like the exact same physical person you were 10 years ago. However, biology and quantum physics reveal that this physical permanence is a masterful, comforting illusion. Your body is not a static object. It is a continuously flowing, invisible river of ancient cosmic matter. Every single day, you shed millions of dead skin cells, exhaling carbon atoms that are immediately carried away by the gentle winds to become part of the ancient forests and the deep, silent oceans. At the exact same time, you are constantly inhaling new oxygen atoms and consuming complex molecules that instantly become incorporated into your physical structure. Scientists estimate that over a period of roughly 7 to 10 years, almost every single atom in your entire body is completely replaced by new matter gathered from the Earth and the surrounding cosmos. You are not a permanent collection of atoms. You are a persistent, complex, and beautifully organized pattern of energy. You are a temporary, swirling vortex in the magnificent, infinite river of cosmic matter. The boundary between where you end and where the universe begins is physically, microscopically non-existent. You are continuously breathing the universe in and breathing yourself out into the infinite void. This brings us to the most profound, terrifying, and deeply comforting realization of our entire journey together. If your physical body is merely a temporary arrangement of ancient, recycled stardust, and the very concept of solid matter, linear time, and empty space are elaborate deceptions constructed by your biological perception, then what exactly is your mind? What is this profound, quiet awareness that allows you to ask these deep, existential questions? For centuries, humanity viewed consciousness as a strange, unnatural anomaly, a solitary spark of awareness hopelessly trapped inside a cold, dead, and entirely mechanical universe. But the staggering discoveries of quantum mechanics suggest a reality that is vastly more interconnected. Remember that the fundamental particles of the cosmos exist only as ghostly probabilities until they are observed. The universe seemingly requires an observer to force its infinite possibilities into a singular, concrete reality. You are not an accident of nature. You are the inevitable, beautiful consequence of a cosmos that desperately needed to see itself. Through the slow, blind, and chaotic processes of biological evolution over billions of years, the universe managed to organize a small portion of its own stardust into a complex, highly sensitive neurological structure capable of looking back at the rest of the cosmos. When you look up at the glittering expanse of the Milky Way on a quiet, dark night, it is not an insignificant human looking at a massive, distant galaxy. It is the universe looking at itself. You are the cosmos experiencing its own profound mystery. You are the universe feeling its own coldness, wondering at its own vastness, and loving its own intricate, ancient beauty. As we sit in the quiet sanctuary of this shared understanding, let us gently review the magnificent illusions we have unraveled. The solidity of the world is a trick hiding the emptiness of the quantum realm. The shared present is a delay of light, masking the relativistic isolation of our journeys. The visible galaxies are merely glowing foam upon a sea of dark matter and dark energy. The pulling force of gravity is the unseen curving of four-dimensional space-time, and the flow of time itself might simply be our consciousness moving through a frozen block of existence on a distant holographic boundary. These truths strip away the intuitive reality we have trusted since childhood, leaving us in an ocean of invisible forces. But in this deconstruction, there is a breathtaking peace. The universe did not weave these deceptions to maliciously blind us. It wove these gentle illusions to protect us, to provide our fragile minds with a safe, beautiful interface through which we could survive and eventually learn to wonder. The deception of reality is the cocoon that allowed consciousness to blossom. We have reached the point where we can peer through the veil and not be consumed by fear. Our journey does not end here, because our capacity for wonder is boundless. Every question births 1,000 new mysteries, inviting us into the majestic unknown. Remember that you are not a lonely creature isolated in a dark void. You are an ancient, vital, and inextricably connected piece of the infinite cosmos. You are made of stars, and you are the very consciousness of the universe itself. The reality we perceive might be an intricate deception, but the pure, quiet love we feel for the mystery is the most profound truth in existence. Rest well, my friends, for our shared journey through the cosmos is a beautiful path that goes on forever.